Hi everyone, I'm Yolanda and in today's tutorial we are going to be making a teapot. Some of the decorations are made with gum paste and fondant. So let's get started. To make this teapot, I've used the 3D Sports Ball pan set by Wilton. This pan comes divided into two halves. So to make a whole bowl, a complete bowl, you need to bake the two halves. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to take the base where the pan sits when it's baking in the oven. And I'm going to place that right in the middle and I'm going to mark all around that before I cut into the cake. So with a serrated knife, I am going to mark all around the base. I'm not cutting anything, I am just marking. So now I'm ready to cut into the cake. I'm not going to use the knife to cut into the cake. I'm going to push the cake into the knife by turning the cake little by little and pushing it into the knife with my elbow tucked in around my waist so that way my hand will not move, the hand that is holding the knife. And once you do that and you slide out the knife, look how even the cut is. Beautiful. Just put a little bit of buttercream on the cake circle where you are going to place your cake and just stick it on there. And then you are going to flip the cake, and that will become the bottom part of the sphere or the cake. Now I'm going to add some buttercream and use it as filling for this cake. I'm going to spread it out just a little bit. And when I place the top part, I'm going to press down just a bit so that the icing could spread out. I'm going to take some buttercream to fill in the gap where the buttercream did not reach. All that gap there, I need to fill it in so that way the buttercream is spread out evenly inside the cake. So I need to fill that in, all that gap all around. I need to fill that in with the buttercream, and that's what I'm doing right now. So at this point, I'm going to remove the top of the cake, just that little piece there, because that's where I'm going to place the lid of the teapot. And now it's time to give the cake a crumb coat. A crumb coat is a thin layer of either buttercream or whatever icing you are using. You seal with that icing, you seal in all the crumbs. You always have a lot of crumbs, especially if you have carved your cake or if you have cut pieces of your cake to form, say, a design or something like that, usually it's a lot of crumbs around. And so the function of the crumb coat is to seal in all the crumbs, so that way they will not show when you apply a second coat of buttercream or when you cover the cake with the fondant. The crumbs will not be showing because they have been sealed in. Once I'm finished giving it a crumb coat, I am going to refrigerate or freeze the cake for at least 15 minutes. While our cake is being refrigerated, I am going to show you what is it I'm going to do to make the handle and the spout for the teapot. Since I'm going to be using this mold or this pen, that's the circle, so I'm going to draw on one side the handle. You can make your own design, but this is my own design. I'm going to draw this. I already drew this, and I'm going to go over it one more time so you could see. This is going to be my handle. And then on the other side, I am going to draw the spout. I'm going to turn it and I'm going to draw the spout. And like I said, you can make your own design. You do not need to follow this one. This is my own. You can draw whatever design you like. Now, for the handle and for the spout, I'm using gum paste. I already rolled it out and shaped it into the image that I drew on the paper. I'm taking toothpicks and dipping the tip of them in water and pushing them into the gum paste. I do not want to go through all the way, but maybe just halfway. Do not push the toothpicks all the way through the other side. Just push them in halfway. This will serve as support when I attach the handle and the spout to the cake. After the toothpicks have been attached, you need to let that dry for a couple of hours, if not overnight. So now I am going to do the spout for the teapot. I'm just shaping the gum paste to the image that I drew before. I want it to be the same thickness as the handle. And as you can see here, I'm making the mouth of the spout where the water is supposedly come out. When you are making these pieces, you need to take your time. You need to really shape the form of the pictures of the figures that you drew on the paper, so that way it could fit exactly on your cake. So you need to take your time. And now for the mouth, I'm going to make a hole with my ball tool. I'm going to make a hole like this, so that way it'll look like the water can come out through that, through there, through the spout. You see that? So it'll look realistic. So now I also need to insert some toothpicks in the spout. Of course, I'm going to insert a couple of more because this is a heavier piece, and so I really make sure, I need to make sure that when I insert it into the cake, it's going to stay there and it's not going to fall off. So just picture this as your cake, as if this was your cake, and it's going to fit perfect. I'm just going to let it dry. And so for this teapot, I want to make a small plate and a teacup. I'm using one of my own teacup to make this Gumpaste teacup. I'm going to place a little bit of the vegetable shortening at the bottom of the teacup, and then cover that with a little bit of plastic wrap. Then I'm going to place inside the cup, the teacup, I'm going to place the round fondant, the round Gumpaste that I cut before, and I'm just going to shape it in the teacup using my fingers, and very gently I'm going to shape in the Gumpaste to the shape of the form of the teacup. Now I'm going to take my fondant smoother and I'm going to smooth out the edges, and this will get rid of the excess Gumpaste that is around the teacup. Then when this is finished, I'm going to let it dry. After this dry, I just lift up the plastic and I'll have my Gumpaste teacup. And I'm going to make the plate, the small plate, the same way. After I roll out my Gumpaste, I'm going to proceed to do the same thing that I did before. I just like to give the plate some ruffle at the edges, so it could look nice and not so flat. So this is what I'm doing right now. And like I said, after this, I'm going to let it dry before I decorate them. To make the base of the teacup, I turn my own teacup over and just fill in the empty space there. Just fill that in with either gum paste or fondant. Shape it, let it dry, and then you glue that to your teacup, just like this one here. I also made the handle for the teacup just the same way I made the one for the teapot. To make the flowers that I'm going to be using for the decoration of the teapot and the teacup, I cut with a cutter, fondant cutter. I cut some flowers. I place them on a thick foam, and with my ball tool just go around each petal very gently so you don't break the petals. And then you flip over the flower and press down in the center and you form your flower. Now for the center you fill it with either sugar pearls or you can pipe some royal icing, maybe in yellow or white, royal icing for the center of the flowers. I'll do this with all the flowers. So my cake is ready to be covered with fondant. I'm going to speed up the camera to save time. Before I continue, I need to make two slits on top where I carve the piece where I'm going to place the lid for the teapot. If I don't do that, the fondant is going to keep stretching and it's going to break right there. So to avoid that, I just make two slits and that's it. And with my veining tool, I'm gonna go all around to cut the excess off from the cake. And that's it. Now I'm going to lift up the cake so you could see how it is at the bottom. That's how it should be. And now to finish off the bottom of the cake, I'm just going to brush some edible glue and then I'm going to put a ribbon that I turned into a snake-like, not too thick, not too thin. I'm going to place that around the bottom of the cake to make it look like the base of the teapot. And now with some white fondant and my ball tool, just made the shape of the lid for the teapot. Just going to brush the lid with some edible glue, and I'm going to place it right on top. Now I will attach the spout to the teapot. And now let's attach the handle. To glue the flowers, you can just use plain water or edible glue. The only thing about using edible glue or plain water is that you have to hold the flowers for a couple of minutes there until it dries. So I rather use the royal icing. With the royal icing, I glue it on and I don't have to hold it. And besides, it lifts up the flowers from the surface. It doesn't look so flat as with the water or the edible glue. So I'm going to use royal icing for the rest of the decorations. Alright, so this is the final product. The teapot is finished. As you can see, plenty of flowers there with leaves. I show you how I made the handle and the spouts and everything for this cake. Also, we made a teacup and the small plate, as you can see, and I decorated the teacup with the same flowers that I used for the teapot. Look how beautiful. Everything matches. Well, this has been all for today. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the tutorial as much as I did. Please share and subscribe to my channel. I will see you back here the next time with another tutorial. In the meantime, may God bless you.